Hi, I'm Dave Baker, and today I'm going to talk with you about some comic books that I read. Batman number 40, Captain America number 6, Outcast number 8, Jem and the Holograms number 2, Multiversity number 2, and the trade collection of Super Mutant Magic Academy. First up this week, Batman number 40, written by Scott Snyder, illustrated by Greg Capullo. This is the last issue of the Endgame storyline. I am blown away by this issue. I was a little bit nervous when the arc was kind of in the middle. It felt like it was maybe losing its way, and I wasn't sure exactly how it was going to pay off because it really seemed like they were going to set the Joker up to be killed off, which I was like, really? You're going to kill off the Joker? But the finale of this issue is almost flawless. Like, it's one of the best single issues that I've read in forever, and it works perfectly as a single issue and as a payoff to the previous 5. Like, it's wonderful. The layouts specifically in this issue are great. They do this staggered rectangle panel design when Joker and Batman are fighting their way down into this cave that really shunts momentum into the bottom of the page. Wonderful work. You can feel these two creators like working in concert together. I can't recommend it highly enough. And the ending is maybe one of the best endings in a Batman book I've read in forever, because it's this binary question mark. You're unsure of which characters maybe died, which character maybe don't, which character maybe chooses to not reattach an appendage that was cut off. It's wonderful. You should go buy it right now. Batman number 40. Next up this week, Captain America number 6. I've really enjoyed this run so far. Written by Rick Remender, drawn by Stuart Immonen. Rick Remender's characterization of Sam Wilson and his relationship to the Captain America legacy has been wonderful, and I've loved Stuart Immonen's artwork. He makes everything feel like a $200 million movie, and especially when the fact that Rick Remender's really mining kind of comic booky logic in terms of things that wouldn't work in any other medium. It sings on all fronts, and I've loved it. In the middle of the run, it lost me a little bit because there was a whole issue with a bunch of dream sequences, but the previous issue, number 5, and this one, number 6, have been spot on. I've absolutely loved the way that he's presented Sam Wilson's characterization and what he wants out of life and what his relationship to Steve Rogers means to him, and just what the idea of Captain America means to the greater public and to Sam as a person. I loved Captain America number 6. It was a great ending to a great first arc, and I'm really, really sad that Stuart Immonen is leaving to draw Star Wars. I wish that he would stay and draw more all-new Captain America. But let's be real, I'm probably going to read Star Wars because Stuart Immonen is drawing it. So, all-new Captain America number 6. It's great. Next up this week is Robert Kirkman and Paul Azaceta's Outcast, number 8. This book, I've really enjoyed the first arc of. It's a TV show feeling kind of exorcism story about this man who seemingly has all of these strange occurrences happening to him where everyone that he knows is being possessed by demons, and when he touches them they start coughing and spew out black liquid, and there's this big mystery about, is he some sort of exorcism incarnate, or is he just some kind of otherworldly defense against the demon? I don't know. I'm really digging it. I also really like the way it's structured, where it feels kind of like this cool mixture of TV show panel structure in terms of comic book storytelling, kind of like how The Walking Dead doesn't have a lot of captions or diagonal shaped panels. It's very kind of, it looks like a camera is showing you things. This book operates on a similar function, or a similar level, but it has all these tiny insert panels. So there are like little close-ups on things and people's faces and them looking around. And up until this point, they've kind of just been flavor. This issue was awesome and used that mechanic in an extremely story-motivated plot way, which I don't want to spoil because when I got to it, I literally got chills. I was so excited to see Kirkman and Azaceta do what they're doing with this book. I really, really, really like it. And I don't care that it's being basically published just to get a TV show deal because it feels great and I like it. So, Outcast number 8. Next up this week, Jem and the Holograms number 2, written by Kelly Thompson, illustrated by Sophie Campbell, one of my favorite books on the market right now. This book has, as opposed to the first one, which was very set up, this one has a beginning, middle, and an end, sort of. It intros the villains, it gives you a little nice spotlight on the holograms hanging out in their apartment all talking, and then Jerrica, aka Jem, gets asked out on a date by this reporter who's come to spotlight them, and it's super cute, and I really, really, really love the book. It's very well written and gorgeously, lavishly illustrated by Sophie Campbell. The only thing I would say is I wish there was just a little bit more emphasis put on the reading it in a single issue format as opposed to a trade paperback format, because that's what it's designed to be read as. I understand that from a business standpoint, you're making this book so you can put it in Barnes & Noble and hopefully get it in the hands of young girls. Great, I think that's great, but at that point, I wish you would just take a year, pay these creators to make a graphic novel, as opposed to stringing it out over 6 issues. That's just me. Also, IDW, please stop making variants. Please. It's really, really hurting everything. Don't make variants. It's not good. However, the book is great, so you should go read it. Next up this week, we have Multiversity number 2, written by Grant Morrison, illustrated by Ivan Reis. The book is the climactic big ending to the Multiversity mini-event, mini-series? I don't know what it is. It's a book, and then a bunch of one-shots, and then another book. I don't even really know what to call that in terms of a format. It's kind of a mini-series, kind of a maxi-series, kind of a bunch of standalones. I don't know. The standalones I loved. The first issue I didn't really care about, and this issue I don't really care about. It's strange. I don't really care about the plot in terms of the kind of universe-ending nonsense that Grant Morrison's doing here. I think it's interesting. I think the metatextual stuff is very smart, but it's just so much plot, and the story is so large. There's so many characters that I just, I got what I needed out of it, and if you haven't read Pax Americana, you should. It's great, as well as The Just, which was the one-shot that was kind of a teen soap opera comic. I've loved every one of the one-shots, but the beginning and the end issues, I don't think they're really written for me. They're really kind of written for people who care about universe-ending stuff? I don't know. I was kind of lukewarm on this book. If you really need to know the end of it, I would say pick it up, but otherwise it's a pass for me. It's kind of like, oh, alright, Grant Morrison doing his Grant Morrison thing. That's kind of it. So, for me, it's probably a pass. Finally this week, we have Jillian Tamaki's trade paperback collection of her webcomic, Super Mutant Magic Academy, which is one of my favorite webcomics in existence. I love it. The best part of this trade is the fact that it has 40 pages of consecutive story. Usually the webcomic is just a 6-panel kind of one-off joke thing that kind of loosely strings together. She's been making it for 3 or 4, maybe even 5 years. The characters have kind of grown and changed over that time, and this 40 pages worth of story is the climactic ending to all of that, which is in trademark Jillian Tamaki style, kind of anticlimactic, in the best, kind of most intimate, sad, existentially frustrated, technologically oriented way. I love this book. I can't recommend it highly enough. The artwork is gorgeous, which is so funny because this is her kind of like, I'm just gonna doodle something in the corner and then post it online book. Like, this isn't her, I'm gonna spend a year making this graphic novel. It's, I'm gonna make a doodle and put it on the internet. And it was, even her doodles are so good that John and Quarterly was like, knock, 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 Mr. Maki, can we publish your book? It's so good. Please go out and buy it. It's wonderful. She was here in Los Angeles. I got to meet her. She signed my book. She was a lovely human. I can't recommend it high enough. Super Mutant Magic Academy, published by John and Quarterly. I'm Dave Baker. Those are the comic books that I read this week. If you'd like to read comic books that I write, you can find them at theactionhospital.com. Additionally, if you'd like to subscribe, that would be much appreciated because Joe needs the money. If you don't want to subscribe, well, then you're a fool, because if you subscribe, then you will be delivered videos at a later point in time, which is kind of like time traveling. And who doesn't want to time travel?